Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Happy October. I thought it'd be fun to do a little bit of a recap every month. I wanted to recap everything I made in the month prior, so that would be September, and then also talk about the things I'm hoping to make in October. If you're new here, hello, my name is Heather. I am a full-time crochet artist, so I'm constantly crocheting clothing and accessories. I do specialize in clothing, but I'm just constantly crocheting pretty much everything. And by the end of the month, I often have quite a big haul of things to show. So originally I was going to save this and do like a 1 year sort of roundup, but I realized that video would be much too lengthy. So instead I wanted to go ahead and do these every month. Let's go ahead and talk about everything we crocheted in the month of September and also everything we made. I'm going to include other craft projects that are beyond crochet. So the first thing I made this month was actually like our only really genuine article of clothing. This is the only sort of full top that you're going to see in this video. It is this adorable striped top. I made this based off of the raglan or top-down t-shirt pattern I had before, but instead of making just a normal closed t-shirt, I left the front open like so, and I put a tie right on the front. So you can tie this part here as a bow, and then it just opens in the front like so. So it's like a little t-shirt cardigan. I made this with 100% cotton yarn. It is so comfortable to the touch, and I figured out a little hack to be able to crochet with stripes without having to cut your yarn and weave in loose ends every single time, which has been a game changer. You can see here on the inside line how that blue yarn sort of carries over the brown. There's these little extra like stripes of blue on the edge there, but it's on the inside so nobody sees it, and therefore you don't have to cut your yarn every single time. It has been such a game changer when I'm making things with stripes. I will just mention now that I do have tutorials for I think everything I'm about to share with you. If I don't have a tutorial, I'll specify that, but otherwise everything I'm sharing with you this month, I do have a tutorial for, which I will link down below in case you want to make them for yourself. So this is the first top, and I kind of want to make it again and then add a bow in the center and also at the bottom of the top, so it's like a tri bow tie method. And the idea for this top was that it would be a good in-between top when you're entering fall but it's still really warm out, so it's like kind of summer, kind of fall. That's what this is for. The reason why I don't have a bunch of new things to share with you is because I spent a good chunk of this month just making the same design over and over and over again. I was just having way too much fun with it, and that would be these, oh, just dropped one. That would be these lace hats here. I think in my hand now I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these hats, which I believe in total I made 9, and this pattern was a pain to put together. This pattern was a pain to put together. I had to rework the design at least 4 times to get this to actually fit the way I wanted it to. It is a simple lace hat, lace beanie. I think some people call them like skull beanies, and it's just this mesh at the top here, and then at the bottom is a floral design, and you'll notice I don't have any of the loose ends woven in on these hats. We're just not going to talk about it. I just really postponed that step. I always leave loose ends till I absolutely have to weave them in. And I made a bunch of these so I could list them on my Etsy shop, and because I was just having such a fun time making them. So this was like our main project this month, was just making a ton of these lace floral beanie hats. The next thing that I made this month, I don't have anymore, so I'm gonna have to put a picture up here, but I ended up trying argirumi for kind of the first time ever. I've dabbled in it a little bit before, but I've never like actually followed a pattern or truly tried argirumi. So I made this crochet little bunny, which I think turned out absolutely adorable. I gave it away as a gift, and then I also made some little outfits for the bunny, which if I have pictures of those, I'll also include that. But I made the bunny, I think it was like some overalls, a little dress, and I think a sweater. And I made those patterns like following my own tutorials. So I made them based off of what I've made before. So like for the overalls, I followed my shorts tutorial, made it really tiny, and then added an extra flap on the top and straps to turn it into overalls. So it's really fun to be able to use my own tutorials or my own designs that I've used to like make my own clothing and then make them really tiny for this little bunny. I will be posting a video here soon where I did the entire process of making this argirumi piece, so I don't want to talk too much about the process because I did have a lot of thoughts while I was doing it. Purely because I've never tried argirumi before, I had a lot to say on the entire process and just the art form that is crochet argirumi. But I will say, whenever I attempt to do that form of crochet, it humbles me quickly. I am thoroughly impressed by the things that you guys make doing argirumi because some of those things are so detailed and I don't know how you do it. The next thing that I made is another just very simple design, but I am immensely proud of this. Again, loose ends. That's gonna be just a common thing for me. But I made these fingerless gloves, which typically fingerless gloves is just very simple. You make a rectangle and then you just stitch it together, right? What I did that made it a little bit different is I learned how to do a cable stitch. I never knew you could crochet cable stitches, and this is completely like changing the game for me, especially entering into fall and winter. So when you wear the gloves, the cable stitch goes right along the back of your hand and the back of your wrist, and it just gives it such an elegant or elevated look, and it takes the really simple design of a crochet fingerless glove just up to the next level. This design, as of the time of this video coming out, I don't have a tutorial for yet because I want to remake it with a lighter brown yarn. That way you can see what I'm actually doing a little bit easier. So I will be having this tutorial out, I believe, in about a week. So if you wanted to make this, then just pop back in here like next week, Wednesday, and I'm sure the tutorial will be here. I just have one last fully completed project to share with you, and that's what I'm currently wearing right now. This purple poncho here. So the story behind this poncho is I was in quite a big crochet slump this month, and then I was just out visiting some people and I ended up getting hit with the need to crochet. I was just sitting on their couch like, I really want to crochet right now, and I didn't have any yarn, I didn't have anything with me, but I just really wanted to crochet. So I was kindly given a skein of yarn from their yarn collection and a crochet hook so I could just work on something. So I picked out this purple sparkly yarn, and there was only one skein in the collection, so I only got one skein to work with, and I tried making a very loose, airy poncho because I figured I could make that work with just one skein. It ended up being a very small poncho, so I steamed it like crazy. I steamed it and pulled on it until it got as long as possible, and then I just recently, like actually like 20 minutes ago, added the tassels here to the bottom of the poncho. And because I ran out of the purple yarn, I had to add white tassels, and I did sprinkle in a little bit of purple, as you might be able to see. Like here, I sprinkled in a little bit of purple to help like tie it all together. Usually when I make a poncho, I make it full length, like almost covering down to my wrist and going all the way down past my waist. So I wasn't sure how this would turn out with the limited yarn, but I think it looks so pretty and elegant, and this is the project that definitely got me out of my crochet slump, because with this project I didn't have to really think, I didn't really have to count stitches, I could just sit there and crochet, and this is what got me fired up to make all these other pieces that I'm hoping to make next month. That is the full, like everything I've actually fully crocheted this month. But I do have a couple other things I wanted to share with you. The first thing I want to share with you is what I'm currently working on, and it definitely doesn't look like much because this stitch really bunches up. So you might not believe me when I say this is an entire top because it looks very, very tiny, but it's one of those trust the process type things. I'm going to be steaming it. It also is one of those materials that stretches once you put it on, but I'll put a reference photo up here of the design I'm kind of trying to emulate. Of course, I'm doing it in my own style, but I'm kind of trying to go based off of this here. It's just a loose like mesh top that you wear over a tank top, which I've never done sort of the open neckline or a V neckline at a crochet top because I typically prefer like a full coverage look. But because I'm going to have a tank top underneath, I'm then going to play around with like a plunging neckline and all that stuff because this is just like an accessory on top of an already existing solid shirt. So I've never crocheted any kind of neckline like that, and it's definitely taken a lot of trial and error. And then as for the other craft projects I've done this month, so not crochet, I don't have a lot to share with you for that either. I typically do a lot of crafting, but I've just been like not doing much this month. I don't know. So the first thing I worked on was knitting. I decided I wanted to try knitting again. I used to knit a lot. I did a knitting class in high school, and then I just realized I enjoyed crochet so much more, which is still the case. I was trying to make a scarf out of this really thin mohair yarn, but I've since thought of a crochet project I want to make with this yarn instead. So this project is getting entirely scratched, and maybe someday I will revisit knitting because it is fun. It just doesn't do it for me the way the crochet does. And then the other things I worked on, I don't know if you consider this a craft project or not, but I have recently in the past couple months been trying to turn my Bible into more of a scrapbook. I've realized it helps me to read it more often, helps me to digest it better because there's something about underlining, highlighting, or coloring in the words I'm reading that helps me to really think about what it is I'm reading, and I'm not just mindlessly like reading through what is written. A lot of this stuff doesn't really serve a purpose. I'm just highlighting it so it goes in my brain, not so much because I want to revisit it, but I've been using this like a scrapbook. So I'm adding things like these little arrow tabs. I've got an entire like flippable chunk here. So I'm just adding like all these extra pages and stuff, and it's been so fun. It keeps me wanting to read my Bible and just engage in it. I feel like I've gained so much more from it now doing it this way, and I would consider it an art project because it basically is like scrapbooking. Like I added this the other day. It's kind of smudged, but it's just this little flap here that has these holes that specifically highlights these certain verses I really wanted to put the focus on and show how they're all connected. And then if you don't want that and you want to read the rest of it, you can just flip it up and read the rest of the Bible. So specifically, I've been going through Proverbs and working on coloring that all in and filling it in. It's just been so much fun. I went ahead and made myself this little craft basket of everything I need. This is my little like Bible scrapbooking basket with my colored pencils, my pens. I've got notebooks and extra books I may want to read for references, glues, paints, stickers, paper, all that fun stuff. This is my little Bible scrapbooking bag that I've been using. And the other 2 craft projects I've been doing this month are not completed, but I did start them, so I'm still going to share them with you and mention them regardless. So the first thing I'm making is I am trying out stamp carving. I saw this all over my Instagram feed and my Pinterest for a while, and I've just really been wanting to try it, but I didn't have a reason. Then I thought, how fun would it be to make my own hand-carved or hand-stamped thank you notes for my Etsy shop when I sell some of my crochet pieces. So I've just been working on this here and there throughout the month. I ended up making or designing a design on Canva. I then colored it all in with pencil and then just slapped it on this sort of what's it called? Like a rubber stamping block. I got myself a little carving set and I've never done this before. So I definitely am kind of in over my head because I did pick kind of an intricate design, but I am very, very slowly in the process of carving out all of the black space here. So we just have the words thank you with a sun and some squiggles and this tree design. It's going to be so pretty if it's done correctly. So I'm just really taking my time with this and working on engraving a little thank you stamp block that I can use to stamp all of my thank you cards for my shop. And then the last thing kind of leads into the next topic for this video, but that is that I got all the supplies to make candles. We haven't made them yet, but I wanted to share this with you because I think it's so fall and so cute. So we found these little, there's 2 of them in this bag, but I found these little tiny pumpkin jars, which are just so precious for fall time. And then we picked out this scent to use for the candles because we thought it'd be really nice. I did not think that I could just open this so easily and smell it when I was in the shop. I didn't realize that it wasn't taped or sealed or anything, so I kind of wish that when we were shopping I actually like opened it and smelled it because we were just guessing with what might smell good. So we went with coconut, sandalwood, and amber, which I can confirm now after smelling it after we got home that it smells really good. It's like a little bit soapy, which is my only complaint, but other than that, it smells so good and it smells like it totally belongs in a little pumpkin jar. I'm not crazy about pumpkin spice, so to me, this is perfect instead. So this is going to be a project for October, but I bought the supplies for it here in September, which is why I'm sharing it with you now. And that bleeds perfectly into the next part of this video, which is everything that I want to make now in the month of October. First thing that I obviously want to make this month are these candles, but let's talk about fiber arts, crochet. What are my crochet goals for this month? And I always end up writing down more ideas than when I'm going to complete. So going into this, just realize that I know this is not all going to happen, so you also know now that it's not all going to happen. The first thing I want to make is after I'm done making this top that I just showed you, this one here that I'm currently in the process of making, if it turns out cute enough, then I want to do a tutorial for it, which I'll be making with this gray yarn here that I have. And I think with the gray yarn, it'll be a lot easier to see the stitches, and it'll be a really good difference because I can wear the maroon top over like a white tank top, and then I can wear the gray one over like a black or a brown tank top. So it's a good contrast of colors. I also really want to play around more with the cable stitch that I showed you with the gloves. Now that I know I can do that, I'm just thinking of everything else I could make with it. I do think that nearing more into winter, so maybe in like November or December, that I would like to make a sweater with the cable stitches. But for this month, what I really have in mind is I want to make a cute pair of like gray or just a really cozy color of shorts that are very soft and that have the cable stitches on either sides. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find a picture just because it's just living in my brain, but if I can find anything, I'll put it up here for reference. But just picture cozy, soft, very dainty, small stitched crochet shorts with a cable running down both like the hips the sides of the shorts. I think that would be so comfortable, so cute for lounging on fall days. I also really want to make a pair of shorts that's very loose and very flowy. I've already made a couple shorts before and they are quite comfortable. I make sure that everything I make is comfortable and full coverage, but I mean, so I have these here for reference. This is the pair of shorts I made last. They are very comfortable, they're striped, they're cute, there's elastic and a drawstring in the waistband so they fit snugly, but they definitely have a snug fit. Like, it feels like I'm wearing jeans when I wear this and not lounge shorts, which is totally okay, but going forward, I would really like to have a pair of very loose, very flowy, still full coverage lounge shorts, which would just include a lot more increases. So I would like to use that design and then play around with making it like a pair of cotton, super flowy, maybe like a multicolor pair of shorts. The next thing I want to make, I've had sitting on my bedroom floor for a while now because I was waiting for all the supplies to come in. I want to make scrunchies, and I want to make a ton of scrunchies. By a ton, I mean I bought this pack of 200 hair ties, and we're gonna turn them all into scrunchies. And I also made a mistake where I thought they didn't arrive because I got an email about how one of my packages didn't arrive and I got a refund or whatever. Turns out it was not the scrunchies, it was something else. And I had these in my room, but I forgot I had them already and I lost them. And I reordered all of these hair ties. So we are soon going to have 400 hair ties. And they're pretty cheap, so I'm not gonna return them. I'm just gonna use them and make like 400 scrunchies. So I picked out this really pretty color palette for these scrunchies. This is what I'm most excited about. I've got the blue, yellow, green, and red. How cute is that? And my plan is to do like a solid scrunchie with a little border on the edge in a different color, so like a solid yellow and then just do one row of green, or a solid blue on one row of yellow. So they all just subtly match each other, and I can make like a little pack of 4 scrunchies and sell them in like a little pack. That is going to be my main project, I think, this month, is making 200, possibly 400 plus scrunchies. We'll see how many I actually make. The other project that I am so excited about this one. I really wanted to try repurposing a sweater. So I've been seeing this on TikTok or Instagram where people are finding sweaters in thrift stores that have a certain seam on the inside where you can tell that you can easily unravel it. They're buying these sweaters for like $2 or $3 and then getting this really nice, wonderfully blended yarn for so cheap. That is exactly what I wanted to do. So I found this sweater, which was half off. I think I got it for like $2. It's sparkly, and it's this like blue multicolor. It's not scratchy at all, which typically if yarn has sparkles in it, I find it to be quite scratchy. And I really am so excited to try unraveling this and crocheting with that yarn. And I'm gonna make a whole video doing that process. I'm not too sure what exactly I'm going to make with the yarn. I'm just going to wait and see how much yarn I end up getting out of it. And then I will decide from there like what I wanna make. But I'm thinking about making something like this, like a little top with a little shrug to go with it, but we will see. This is something I am beyond excited to work on, is attempting to unravel this sweater, which I don't have a yarn winder, which might be like, it might be a process, but I'm really excited to see if this works, because if this works well, then you already know I'm going to be getting almost all my yarn from thrift stores from now on, because this is awesome. So that is everything that I'm hoping to crochet in October. Now let's quickly touch on the things I want to do in October. I'm going to keep this very broad, just talking about my main goals for the month. So my first goal, and this is like my personal goal, is I want to start going to the gym. I've never been to the gym before. I'm a very outdoorsy, active person. I like to go hiking. I like to get all my workouts outside, but I do live in the Midwest, and I have found in these past few years, by the time winter hits, I am just not feeling it. Like, I'm not the best version of myself, that's for sure, because I'm sitting inside all day being cozy and crocheting, but I'm not getting the same amount of movement in the winter time than I am in the summer. So starting this next month, I'm getting a gym membership, and I'm going to get myself in the routine of going to the gym. I'm starting off with like 2 to 3 times a week, and I'm not sure like how active I'm going to be there. I might just stick to like the treadmill and the Stairmaster. We'll see what I end up doing. I've never been to a gym before, so I'm a little bit nervous about how that works and like the gym etiquette and how to use the machinery, because this is completely out of my league for me. But I figured it would be a good thing to do during the winter time to maintain physical and mental health. So that's my goal next month, or this month, now that we're already in October, is to go to the gym. My goal for like my business and the crochet aspect is I would like to make launches or list items much more regularly. Originally, I was trying to do entire launches, like a summer launch, a fall launch, a winter launch. But I have decided for myself that I want to just like trickle in pieces every week or so. I'm gonna add a new piece to my shop and then try to advertise it a little bit better over on my Instagram. Even if you have no intention to buy anything crochet because you'd rather make it all yourself, which I will always encourage you to create before you consume. If you wanted to go follow me over on my shop Instagram, where I post all of my photos and videos of what I've made. I put a lot of time and energy into the photography, and I think it all looks pretty cute. I'm not an expert photographer, but it is one of my art forms as well, is photography. So if you wanted to see those, then feel free to follow me over on Calluna Crochet, Calluna being the Latin name for Heather. And then if you also want to follow me on my Etsy shop, even if you don't intend to buy anything, it still is such a great form of support, and I appreciate it so much. So either of those are two platforms I'm really trying to grow in this next month, that I'm trying to list more things and be more active on. So if you could follow me on either of those if you want to, that would mean so much to me. And then my other goal for crochet is I don't want to buy any new yarn this month, which is crazy because I crochet a lot, but I also have a lot of yarn. I have like 4 boxes here under my bed that is stuffed with yarn. The only problem is it's all like one skein of one color, and it's also kind of the scratchier yarn. I do have some cottons, I do have some softer yarns, but most of the yarn that I have collected is gifted to me from other people's yarn collections, or it's very old before they started making softer acrylics. So it's a much more scratchy acrylic yarn. So I have to figure out how to make things that aren't really clothing, or I just have to figure out what I want to crochet with smaller color blocks of yarn. Just for 1 month, I'm not going to make myself go through this forever, but for just this month, I really want to spend absolutely no money on new yarn. And then the last thing I want to do this month is the leaves are changing quite rapidly, and I keep telling everyone I want to go on a fall walk with them, and we still haven't gone on one. So I have like 4 fall walks designated that I need to get done this month. So I'm hoping to do a lot of walking in the fall environment, and it's going to be such a great time. So I hope you all have a wonderful October. I hope your September was great. Comment down below your favorite thing that you made in this last month, or comment down below what you're excited to make now in October, or what you're most excited about with the fall season. I want to hear all about how your months went, and I want to hear all about your goals or your creative plans for the next month. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I post a bunch of crochet videos, I post tutorials, I post behind the scenes, I post talking videos like this. I'm posting anything and everything crochet. So if that interests you, then feel free to subscribe, like this video if you enjoyed this, and let me know if you want to see another one of these at the end of October, recapping into November, because I would love to make this again every month or so for however long that we're still enjoying making these videos. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I do have a tutorial for like 99% of the things I showed you this month. So I will have all the tutorials linked down below if you want to make any of these pieces for yourself. Otherwise, I will see you next week with another crochet video. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful and blessed couple of days. Happy October, happy fall. You are awesome. Goodbye.